If you've ever felt like you're doing all the right things to show up in your business, yet still feel invisible, this conversation is going to shift everything for you. Lorraine Lane shares why hard work alone doesn't create visibility and how small, intentional actions can set you apart in a crowded marketplace.
Welcome to Biz Help for You, the show that saves you the expensive learning curve by providing advice from industry experts in every facet of the entrepreneurial journey. Too many small businesses collapse. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 20% fail within their first year, and less than 35% make it to their 10th anniversary. The goal of this podcast is to change that statistic. So if you're interested in learning more to be a successful entrepreneur, tune in today.
Welcome to Biz Help for You. I'm Candy Messer, and today I'm bringing you a powerful conversation from my Freedom to Thrive Summit. I had the pleasure of interviewing visibility strategist Lorraine Lane, and she brought so much clarity to a challenge many business owners quietly struggle with. Whether you're new in business or shifting your focus after years of experience, visibility looks different for each stage. Lorraine's insights will help you understand how to stand out confidently and consistently without feeling like you must be everywhere at once.
Welcome to the Freedom to Thrive Summit, where experts share their strategies to help you create more profit, peace, and possibility in your business and life. Your host for this session is Candy Messer. Candy is known as the Profitability and Operational Efficiency Strategist. Hailing from Tri-Cities, Tennessee, Candy is the founder of Affordable Bookkeeping and Payroll Services and also hosts the podcast Biz Help for You. She's got another amazing guest coming right up. Take it away, Candy.
Well, welcome to the show. Today I have Lorraine Lane, and we're going to be talking on 10 powerful steps to increase your visibility. If you have questions while I'm doing the interview, be sure to put those in the chat. I will be monitoring that, and I can ask your questions as we go through this chat. But I want to start first to Lorraine, asking you, before I ask anything on the specific topic, I'd love to know your story of why. Why are you doing what you're doing and helping entrepreneurs?
Well, for the first few years when I started my business, I thought that my hard work would be enough, and that I realized I was hiding in plain sight. Right? The phone wasn't ringing, and I had every excuse under the sun not to be visible. So when I realized I needed to have business if I was going to be in business, right? So I made the decision that I was going to show up, stand up, speak up. And when I did that, my business changed and I found my target market. And now I help small business owners stop blending in and find their uniqueness and get out there, stand up, speak up, show up, be in the limelight if you're going to be in business.
Well, and some people might have heard that and thought, well, I'm speaking up or I'm standing up. I'm, posting on social media. I'm trying to get out there in the world, but there's just so much noise out there. I'm not being seen. So I would love to hear kind of some of those steps that you were talking about that they can take to really start amplifying what they're doing so they have more visibility.
Well, some of the things that I notice that small business owners do, they think they are, showing up, but they're not differentiating themselves enough, right? So when you use the same words, I'm honest, I'm on time, I give good service, those aren't differentiating you. You're blending in with whatever other people are saying. So finding your sweet spot, your uniqueness, your strength, your story, that's what makes you stand out. And it's important to stand out because there is so much noise out there, as you say, Candy, and there's a lot of it. There's more of it. And the other thing that I notice small business owners are doing is that they are posting, but who's seeing you, right? And so I compare it to trying to drive down 5 lanes at the same time. They're not going to win the race that way. You have to find your lane and then drive like hell, right? and get
Right.
be winning that race. So,
Mm-hmm.
and by driving down your lane, I mean getting your message honed in. Who is your
Mm-hmm.
target market? And not everyone is your target market, as we know, right? And
Mm-hmm.
what do they need to hear from you? So those things are important. Those things set you apart.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you talked about narrowing down and figuring out who that ideal customer is, but someone might still be thinking, well, I'm still not sure how I differentiate myself. You were saying that that's what I need to do. And there's, 10,000 people who do what I do still, in serving the same customer. How can I really share something that's different and help me stand out when I'm doing a lot of the same things?
Mhm. So in working with my clients, I interview them and I keep asking endless questions so that I hear the things that are separating them from everyone else who does what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes some work. It really does
Mm-hmm.
take some work to think about what makes you different. And I was talking with one of my clients the other day, and she's a home stager, does beautiful work. And we changed the language, and work is coming to her because she's differentiating herself and speaking to her target market with words that resonate with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sell faster, help your listings get attention, sell for more money even. And what she says to them, you don't want to go back to your client and tell them they have to reduce the price of their home. They don't want to hear
Mm-hmm.
that. So
Okay.
she's speaking to the pain, and that sets
Mm-hmm.
her apart from every other home stager. I'm using her as an
Mm-hmm.
example. So if you're a yoga instructor, what makes you different? And
Mm-hmm.
the people that are your target market will hear you when you can say what makes you different, what makes me different from every other business coach, right? And
Mm-hmm.
what makes you different. So once
Right.
we have that, then you can speak with confidence about what you do.
Mm-hmm. Well, and someone who's listening might think, well, I understand the concept of narrowing down, but I'm having a hard time. I'm not sure who I should serve. I've been working in this business for so many years. And so I've got people kind of broad. And how do I narrow that down?
So I ask people to think, who do you love working with? you know, who would you almost do it for free if
Mm-hmm.
you could work with those people? Who do you love
Mm-hmm.
working with? So those are the people that are your target market, right? And it takes some
Mm-hmm.
time. It takes some time to be able to do that. And I will tell you, I resisted doing that for a long time because I thought I don't want to miss out on any business that I could possibly have.
Mm-hmm.
But once you do, and those are people that I really want to work with, and I do my best work with these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that early on, I learned some lessons by taking on clients who weren't my target market, and it was not a happy ending.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
So I learned these are the people that I love to work with. They're my target market. I speak to them, and it helps. I remember I had a client and I told him, who's your target market? And he goes, everybody can, okay. So we did the questionnaire that I use, and surprisingly, it expanded his market by about 300%. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
narrow it, it expanded it. And he was shocked. So sometimes people have the idea that I'm not going to have any work, I'm not going to have any business if I narrow my market. It could expand your market.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So, in terms of visibility, too, there's so many different ways to get your message out there, too, right? There's in person networking or speaking or social media or all the different things, too. So, is there a method that you have found in general that's actually a little bit better in terms of being visible, or does it depend on kind of who you serve, what you do?
Yeah, for sure. So if like one of my clients, all of her business is local. So she was spending hours posting on Facebook when all of her clients are in person. She meets them at local networking events. So spending all those hours posting, I'm not saying don't post, I'm not saying that, but spending inordinate amounts of times posting and getting nothing back was a total waste of time. So spending the time to make those in-person connections is where she needs to focus. So if your business is online, then where are your people looking? If they're on LinkedIn, spend the time there. If they're on Facebook, spend the time there. And like I say, driving down 5 lanes at the same time, oh, maybe not if your if target market isn't there.
Well, I see Sarah M says, "Hi, Lorraine. I'm glad to be able to attend your session today." So thank you, Sarah, for being here. Yeah, so back to the social media where you were talking about, if your audience is on LinkedIn or, Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and some people may not know how to find that information too. So I'm just posting everywhere, hoping to catch them. How can they determine what is the best platform or 2 platforms or something for them to be using?
So experiment. Marketing is all about experimenting, isn't it? Right? And getting the feedback. So if you're posting on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, which one of my clients was doing, where are you getting interaction? Right? So a lot of the interaction is on LinkedIn for her. So let's focus there and see if you can increase. So we experimented for a couple of months, and sure enough, she started getting inquiries and response. So that's where she is spending her time now. So you experiment a little bit and get the feedback. And that's one of the things for visibility is pay attention to who's listening to you, who's responding. That's good information. Be more visible there.
Well, it seems nowadays too, in terms of social media, posts are being seen less and less. And so we have less interaction. We have less comments and likes and shares and all of that too. So do you have any strategies on how to overcome that so we can still be visible?
Yeah, so for me, when I was, made the decision to get more visible and doing in-person workshops, and I did events, this was pre-COVID, and it really worked for me. And so then COVID hit, and I had to go online and experiment again to see where people were and reach out to people. So now we're in this hybrid of in-person is taking off a lot, and online. So I advise people, let's play with it a little bit, see what's out there for you and your messaging, and see who responds. So, there's not a one size fits all kind of thing. So you have to kind of experiment for yourself and what you're willing to do. So if you're going to show up, we all know the rule is be consistent. Don't show up at one networking event and think, oh, networking doesn't work. So you need to work it. You need to follow up with people. You need to do the things that make those connections work.
Well, I see a question here from Terry. She says, have a nutrition mobile app and was wondering about YouTube channel to show tips and demos. Are there YouTube channel strategies, or does YouTube have too much competition so it's a waste of time?
Okay, so I'm not a YouTube expert, but what I have heard is that it takes a long time to get a following on YouTube. But look at people who are successful and imitate what they do. Don't imitate their messaging, but see what it is that they're doing that gets people to subscribe and follow them. And I think that people miss out on is tell people what to do. Subscribe to my, to my Facebook group or comment below. people will do what you tell them to do. And so if you have a YouTube channel and you're sharing things, tell people about it. Invite them over. Go see what I posted on or what I did on YouTube today. We will go. So
I think sometimes we feel embarrassed to ask though, or we're afraid we're going to be too pushy. So what do you say to someone who feels that way and really wants to still get that visibility?
Well, that conversation in your head will stop you from doing the things that work. Ask people. And the asking, people love to help and support. So when you ask people, it's amazing. They will give you a review, they will give you a testimonial if you ask. So don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask.
I would love to ask too, as we have a lot of people who've been entrepreneurs for a long time and their focus might change at some point, and now they need to be starting fresh and visible all over again. How do they manage that change and still keep the people, hopefully most of the connections they have, so that they're not losing out on those they're already being visible with, but they're, incorporating their new branding?
Okay. Make it a celebration, talk about it and ask people to continue to support you. You're doing this, you're expanding, you want them to stay with you, share it. And I'll have a client who was starting again, a new business, and she had several thousand people on her email list. Should I tell them? And it's absolutely. Absolutely. Share, celebrate, make a big deal of it. And it's amazing the people that came forth and said, I know somebody you should talk to. So she was getting and is getting a lot of referrals from that. So yes, absolutely. Make a big deal of what you're doing. People want to know.
Right. And I was also thinking too, we've heard so many different rules about how to do things in terms of social media too. Like you should have business, you should have personal, those should be separate. You shouldn't have a lot of personal stuff on your business page. But now we're hearing that is changing. That obviously on Facebook has been a little bit more of not quite a fine line, and it's like blurred a little bit. But LinkedIn, it used to be very professional, but now we're seeing people posting some personal things there too. So what's the balance between still maintaining that professional business presence, but yet being a real person?
Yeah, I think that's what visibility is about, right? We're being visible so that people can get to know us, like us, trust us, that mantra that we all say. And how are people going to get to know you, who you are, what makes you different, why they want to connect with you, if you never share anything about who you are and you're this business person, right? So you have to bring all of you to the table. And I was talking with one of my clients the other day. She has never shared why she got into the business that she's in. And that story needs to be told. Okay. So we need to, you don't have to post what you're having for dinner, those kind of things, but, but the things that make you unique and different and special, do it. Because people want to know who you are. They want to know who they're dealing with. So yeah.
So how much personal should you have versus business again too? So especially if it's a little bit more on that like professional level, maybe an attorney, or a doctor or something like that too, where, they have their professional office. They do want to be seen and liked, but how many posts personally should I have versus business?
Yeah, I think that's an individual decision. If you're posting, I know somebody who posts 3 times a day, so that's a lot. And so you make the decision, but once you make the decision, then be consistent. So if you're doing posts 3 times a day for 2 weeks, and then you don't show up for another month, there's something incongruent about that.
Mm-hmm.
So do what you can do consistently. So if it's
Mm-hmm.
once a day or once a week, be consistent.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good point too, because it made me think while you said that. I remember seeing someone recently post that she joined a challenge and you had to post maybe like 4 times a day for like a month, right? So she did it and she finished that challenge, but then you're not going to keep up probably 4 times a month every day, consistently too. So is it worth doing that at all then to maybe increase that visibility and then you drop off? Or is it better just to maintain that schedule you think you're going to be able to do once a day or whatever that looks like?
If you let people know that you're doing it as a challenge because you want to develop a skill or a strength, let people know that. And then talk about it afterward. If you're going to back off from the 4 times a day to once a day or once a week, you talk about it. I did this challenge and it was 4 times a day and I developed this skill and I'm happy I did it. And now I'm going to post once a week. Let people know. So then you're setting expectations and people don't think, I saw you every day, 4 times a day, and now I'm not seeing you at all. What's the matter? What's gone? What's wrong? What's, yeah. So that would be a way of sharing a personal thing, right? I did this. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, I was going to flip quickly over to email marketing too. And, we've heard sometimes you can email too much, or not enough. Is there like a good level of how often you should be reaching out through email marketing?
I would say whatever is comfortable for you. Do you have something you're bringing people's attention to? Are you sending out emails twice a week? Are you reminding people of something? So on Wednesdays, I do a coffee with a coach every Friday morning. So I send out to my list every Wednesday. I have missed a couple times, but every Wednesday to remind people. Okay. So they have told me they like the reminder. So I do that. I schedule it and I do that. If you're doing something to, a workshop, you're bringing attention to it, then I'm told that you need to do it often and remind people because we're so inundated with information. And then, use it to bring attention. But if you're just filling people's inbox with stuff that has no value, ask people, is this valuable to you? Do you want to hear this? Is this important? Right? So if you're getting a lot of unsubscribes, that's feedback, right? And if you're getting good opens, then you're on the right track. If nobody is opening your emails, then you might want to take a look and get some advice about what to do better to keep your email list alive, right?
Perfect. Well, I know we're coming to the end of the time we have together today, and I know you have a free gift you would like to offer as well. So can you tell us about that?
Yes, it's 10 ways to make yourself more visible that cost nothing. Okay? So don't do all 10 at the same time. Pick a couple that resonate with you and really work them and see if it gets you more visible. For instance, volunteering for something in your community gets you more visible, gets people talking to you. And, joining a summit and speaking, right? And it gets more visibility, but also use it as practice and experiment. That's the important thing to think about with marketing. Is this working? Did it do what I wanted it to do? Maybe I can tweak it a little. So those 10 ways to be more visible, use it and think, oh, I could do this, then do that.
Perfect. So if you are interested in that, click on that link, make sure that it's working for you. And then if you're grabbing that, put in the chat, I got it. But I know you also have a VIP gift you would like to share. So can you talk about that as well?
Yeah. So visibility is self-promotion, right? And when we think about bragging on ourselves and all that, so if you're, oh, I'm not, I don't want to be seen as a show-off or a bragger or all that. So there's a way to do that is engaging and will have people want to know more about you. And so anyone who signs up for the gift, I will reach back out to you and have a masterclass on that to be determined probably in December sometime. Okay, so I'll let everybody know about that.
Perfect. I hope you found Lorraine's guidance as encouraging and actionable as I did. Increasing your visibility isn't about being louder, it's about being clearer, more confident, and more consistent in the places where your audience is already listening. If you'd like to explore her free resource, 10 Ways to Make Yourself More Visible that cost nothing, the link is included in our resources, and check out the details in the show notes. If you'd like to hear presentations from all the summit speakers and receive the VIP gifts, a link to the summit upgrade is also included in the show notes. Be sure to check out everything you will receive from each speaker. Until next time, have a fabulous day. Thank you for tuning in today. Would you please share this episode with those you know and leave a review on your favorite platform? And if you find our show informative, would you consider being a financial sponsor to help me continue my mission to educate business owners? A link is located in the episode description, and no amount is too small. I'd really appreciate your support. If you are interested in connecting with our guests and receiving the offer they had to share, a link to our resource page is in the show notes. Finally, if you have any bookkeeping or payroll needs, reach out to us at 310-534-5577 or contact@abandp.com. My team and I are eager to assist you. Until next time, have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Biz Help for You. Please join your host, Candy Messer, again next time. Have a terrific day.